Good morning, sunshine. Welcome to Morning Inspiration with Friends with our host, Miss Inspiration. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe as you sit back and listen.
Well, good morning. Good morning and happy Friday. It is your girl, Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. We are here with another episode of Morning Inspiration with Friends. Guys, we do this every Monday to Friday, 7 a.m.-ish, CT time, Central Time. The replays are always here. So especially if you're on YouTube, you have access to all of the replays. I think we're now at over 140 or 150 episodes. I still can't believe, super consistent. This has been the one thing that I said that I was going to stick to this entire year. And, well, not entire because I started at the end of February. So I can't say entire. But, sorry, I'm trying to type something real quick. So I'm really excited that I did that. But today I want to talk about something. We started talking about this last week. Earlier this week, just talking about side hustles, how to make extra money, things of that nature. And the one thing that I am very passionate about is helping people to get out of their own way, help people to solve their own problems, right? There is a solution to almost everything out there. And I feel like there's actually a solution to everything. However, I believe that many people, it really comes down to the mindset. Someone right now can give you the blueprint to making $10,000 a month right now. But if you don't believe, for whatever reason, it could be you don't believe that you deserve that, right? There are some people out there who do believe that they don't deserve to make a certain amount of money, right? I don't know where they got that from. I don't know who told them that. I don't know, whatever the mindset, but it comes down to the mindset. The t-shirt that I have on, this is a t-shirt that I actually made, and it says, "Don't overthink yourself into remaining broke." I made this t-shirt 2 years ago, and I started to wear it a lot more because I want people to realize when they read these types of words, when they're speaking to someone such as myself or just anyone, especially if they are in the mindset of, I'm going to stay broke, man. I'm never going to make a lot of money. I'm never going to make enough money, right? What I'm talking about is we're not talking about people trying to go out here and make billions of dollars. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking to the people that right now need another $50, $100, or maybe even $500 before December is over. And not because it's the holidays, or maybe it is because of the holidays, right? Maybe you can pay all of your bills, and all of your bills are going to get paid by the end of the year, but you don't have the little extra to do something for your children, your spouse, your family members, someone out there that you might feel as though, whatever the situation may be, you have to start changing this mindset. You have to start and you have to stop. Because on Wednesday's message, you go to Wednesday's message, I was speaking about everything is not a scam. And I feel as though a lot of people are allowing fear, overthinking to make them believe that everything is scamish. Now, are there people out there that will scam you? Absolutely. And you know what really changed my mind about this? A few years ago. So many of you may or may not know, I am a college professor. I used to teach traditionally in colleges, in person and online, before the pandemic, after the pandemic. And Jelly Bean, that pup nephew about to get. And so, y'all know, if you know about Forex, like if you ever heard, if anyone has ever came to your inbox, your email talking about Forex, day trading, right? I had those people in my inbox as well. And I used to, I do my preliminary research on like surface level for some things, because I know there's some things that I could sit and learn. And then I'm just like, do I really want to like invest in this? Because again, every investment is not for everyone. And so I remember in 2019, I'll never forget this. This was a morning class, and I had this student. This student was sitting like in my class on his laptop. So I was teaching computers, teaching Microsoft Excel, and I walk around my class and I kept noticing like he had his laptop on. He was doing his work, but he had his laptop up and he had all these like little mini screens and these charts. And so I'm just paying attention. I didn't disturb him because again, I try not to call out my students too often, but I was kind of intrigued because it was looking like what I was researching. And so I was like, okay, what is he doing? And so by the end of the class, I pulled him to the side and I said, "What were you doing in my class just now?" He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, miss, but I was, I do day trading. So I had to, pay attention to the stocks and make sure, that I wasn't losing no money." And he was like, "But I had, I got out of this call." And I'm like remembering the terms because I'm like, okay, call, And so he said, yeah, he was like, I was like, well, did you make money while we were in class? And he was like, yeah. He said, I think he said he had made like $900 or maybe 900%. I don't remember. I know 900. So either could have been $900 or 900%. And so I was just like, wow, so that really just changed my mind. Like, okay, so this is real. Like people actually do this. And so when the pandemic happened and we're not going anywhere, I started to research even more. And then I found this community. And that's why I say I will spend the money to join a community for someone to really hold my hand, to like really give me the insight, because just like a college course, right? They are the professors and they have mastered this. They know this in and out. Some of them, they eat, sleep, crap this out all day. Why wouldn't I want to learn from this person? Now, I will put a disclaimer out there. There are going to be some people that are going to tell you that, yeah, you can make, thousands of dollars, tens and $20,000 a month, and you're really just funding their lifestyle through their coaching program. They're not actually making the money doing whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing. But this particular community, they had charged us like $25 a month. I thought that was a quick deal, right? Huge steal in the middle of the pandemic, just so that I can learn this. And so I went through their learning modules and I'm like understanding the terminology. So like calls. And so I realized, so this was never a scam. I just kept connecting myself with the scammers. So the scammers were the ones that were telling me and selling me this dream, but they were not actually showing me anything. Or they was like, oh, I'll be your manager and your account manager. I'll do it for you. And then you'll never hear from them people again. But when you actually meet someone, a live person that you actually know, and you see them do it, they might not be the person that's going to teach you how to do it. They're just planting the seed. So he planted that seed of going from this might be scammy or this might be a scam to this, there's some potential here. He might not be the person that's going to teach it. But in 2020, when I had more downtime, I found the people and then I started to invest. Now, the one thing that I will say, and I will wish that I did not stay consistent with it. Right. I made a couple of dollars. I remember one time I was going to the doctor for an appointment. When I left, I had joined the call. It was probably like a 15-20 minute drive by the time I parked and I was walking in. I looked, it had gone up to like, I think maybe like 115%, which was like probably like $100 and some dollars. And then I saw it was about to go onto the downturn and I got out of that. And I had only invested, this was like a really small account. This wasn't like, SPY or QQQ. This was like one of those really small accounts, but I was able to see me put in, I think maybe like $12 into this one particular call. And I was able to see in 15-20 minutes, it had gone up. And when I pulled out, I was able to make like over $120 from that one particular call. So I saw the evidence. So when I tell people, yes, this is possible. Yes, you can learn this, right? If you put the time in, you understand these terminologies. So it's not a scam. You just got to get away from the scammers, right? Because they have a different motive. The right people want you to be successful, because when you are successful, what do we tend to do when we are successful at something? We brag about something. We talk about the book that helped us. We talk about the course that helped us, the the college that helped us, the person, our mentor, you start bragging about those people. So now you're going to start talking about the people. So the money printers, that was the community I had joined. The money printers, I was now bragging about them. And then what did I do? Because they gave us the opportunity. They said, hey, if you tell people about us, we'll give you a percentage. I became an affiliate, right? I became an affiliate because if I am learning this, and this is not something that I'm super passionate about, that I want to teach you, I'm going to pass you to the people that taught me. And so now we built a system. Well, they built a system, and I was just a part of it. So I can confirm and vouch for you. You're not a scammer. You're not going to just take my money. You're actually teaching me this, right? That's going to help someone reduce their fears, right? And then it's like, okay, but you also have to put in the work. You got to learn this stuff. They're going to push you through this training module. You got to go through it. You got to be serious. You got to be diligent, right? You got to be disciplined to do this. And then when you get into the live, you got to just take action. This is how the system works. But so many people, it's like they just hear an opportunity, and it's just especially an opportunity that is not a 9-to-5, it doesn't have a 401k, doesn't have a pension, doesn't have a union. Nah, man, I can't do that. That's a scam. And it's just like, but why do we think this way? If you know the answer to that, please tell me, because I just I can't. And the problem that I really want us to focus on today is that when we think this way, when we think everything is a scam, the only thing that you're going to do is remain the same. You are allowing this mindset to keep you in this future, in this reality that's going to keep with you for the rest of your life. And until you break free from this is why I say we have to unlearn the things that we have been taught. We have to unlearn the things that have been taught to us. And you have to now reprogram yourself to understand some of these things work, and we still do that, right? So when people say to me, oh man, you just want everybody to be an entrepreneur. I don't. Because trust me, as a customer, the one thing that I can say about a lot of these, everyone want to be an entrepreneur is that they typically have the worst customer service. And I'm big on customer service, so I don't have time for it. So no, everyone does not need to be an entrepreneur, but everyone needs to know, how do I make money while I'm working? How do I make money if I stop working, right? We just saw a government shutdown for how many days? You saw some people online, they were struggling. And then you saw the other ones who came online and they were like, the government is shut down. I'm not going to have money to pay my bills. And then you started, seeing there was a man, you could look it up. I think it was in DC, a lawyer. So the lawyer said that prior to the government shutdown, he did a social experiment, and he was selling hot dogs in his suit, right? An actual attorney. I believe this is in Washington, D.C. And so when the government shut down, he was a government lawyer. He decided to bring out that hot dog stand, and he stood outside and he sold hot dogs in his suit. And so people were commenting like, oh, that's crazy. Who want to go outside and sell hot dogs? He knew he still had something to pay, whether it's called rent, mortgage, car note, lights, any type of utilities, cell phone. You still have to pay for these things. So yes, as a lawyer, as an attorney, at the time, his employer was not paying them. And he said he's not going to be broke and homeless. So he took out that same hot dog stand that he had from his experiment, and he put it on the street, got his supplies, and he started selling, and people started buying. He was able to walk away. Now, he probably was not making anywhere close to what he was making while working with the government. And that's not the point. The point is he understood, I have to figure out how to make more money. I have to figure out how to make some money. He could have went and signed up for Uber. He could have drove Uber. He could have went and signed up for DoorDash and did DoorDash. But he used what he had. This is why I keep saying, if you've been following me all week, I keep telling you, you have to use what you have in order to get what you need or want. So some people, and I'm reading the comments of this particular story of this attorney who was selling hot dogs because the government has shut down and he's not receiving a paycheck and he's trying to make money to survive. Oh, that's crazy. I would never buy a hot dog from a man wearing a suit. You're worrying about the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? Why is that the first comment, the first thing that came to your mind? Because he has on a suit? Man, yes, sir. Give me a hot dog. You got any pretzels back there too? Because that's what I actually want. I don't care for hot dogs, right? You are afraid of losing money. But many of us are out here losing years by just staying in the same place, staying with the same mindset, right? Your fears are going to scam you more than the people do. Your fears are going to scam you more than the people do. Because your fears is going to start having you think of every wrong situation. We love to think about everything that could go wrong, but we never like to think about what if everything went right? What if for 1 week you shift your mindset and start thinking that everything can go right for me? The traffic won't exist. Even though you know every time you go down this road, there's always traffic. But now you start shifting your mindset. And this makes me think, I got my Golden Girls cup. There's an episode on Golden Girls when Rose joins like one of those communities, similar to what I'm speaking about, right? Changing your mindset. When you change your mindset, things in your reality starts to change. You start thinking, you start realizing, wait, it really might not be that everything around me is going wrong, but because you start thinking about everything that could possibly go right. And when those things start to actually go right and they start going right in your life, you start having this confidence of like, yo, everything can go right. I can truly change my reality. But your fear is what's keeping you there. Your fear is telling you, nope, you're going to lose all your money. I know people out here that won't invest $5 that they have. See, it's a difference if you don't have $5 at all. But I know people that have a job right now that if someone came to them and said, I got the blueprint for you, if you follow it step by step from A to Z, and it's only $5. Nah, man, that's a scam. That could be the opportunity that you need to, to put towards your 401k, right? There's a lot of millennials right now who are playing catch up with their 401k, with their retirement, right? They're getting really aggressive. Their first few years, they probably were not making enough money to even contribute $1 to their 401k because their paychecks was probably just paying enough for their bills. So now they're playing catch up. So what if an opportunity came to you and they said, hey, we can help you to make this extra $500 after taxes, and you can put that towards your 401k. It's not going to be a full-time job. It's not going to require you to quit your job. You can do this in addition, and as long as you just pay this $5, you get this information, and then as long as you take action, you'll be able to take action. There's some people that'll be like, nope, it's a scam. It's $5. What? Are you serious? That's what you're worrying about, the $5 that you have. Cool. So this opportunity that can save you and help you play catch up faster, you don't want no parts of that. All right, not a problem. So that fear is blocking that opportunity. It's not the person, it's you. It's your mindset. So this is the reason why I say, if you don't educate yourself, invest in learning for yourself. And that is going to require you to either spend some time on the internet, ChatGPT, listening to podcasts, reading books, right? And that's fine. There's some people that's how I am. I'm typically the person, if I really want to learn something, let me learn how to do it myself. Let me get the initial down to on my foot on the ground, and I can really understand it. And then I will go and find someone who has already done it. And then I will invest. Now, I always have limits, right? Because my pockets were not long at one time. So I remember in one season of my life, I really wanted to work with this one person. I'm going to give you a game. I wanted to work with this one person, I won't name their name, and that individual, their coaching was like $1,000 a month. At that time, giving up $1,000 a month was so scary to me. Did I have it? I did, but I was afraid. And I was like, I don't know about this one. So I went through the comments of their posts, right? Because the one thing I will say, the person that you really want to work with, and you might not be able to afford to work with them, if you check out their comments and you really engage, you're going to find the other expert who does not charge as much. They're going to give you same game, same attention, same information, but now you're going to be able to work with this person and maybe at a fraction. So I ended up finding someone who was charging like $250 a month. I felt comfortable parting with $250 a month. I couldn't do $1,000. So I'm getting the same information. I'm getting the same attention, but now I'm getting it at a different price. Because you want to know what I did learn in that same circle? The person who was charging $1,000 a month, the person he was working with was charging him $10,000 a month. So I always say there's someone out there willing to give you the information as long as you're willing to invest. And it could be as little as $20 and it could be as much as $40,000. $20,000 to $40,000. Find your expert and get the information. Wherever your budget is, get the information. Don't go to the $40,000 person talking about all I got is $20. Right? We understand that. But we need you to go find the $20 person, the $50 person that's going to give you that same information, especially if you don't want to spend time in learning and digging through, because that's what a lot of them did. They either spent the time and they dug through everything to get this information to share with you, or they paid someone or some institution to learn this, and now you're basically paying them for, you're helping to repay for their investment. And that's basically what it is. But that's why I say you don't have to really pay anyone to do anything. You just got to do the research. You got to sit and learn. So which one are you going to learn? I like to go a little bit faster now. Now I'm going to go a little bit faster. I'm not doing the spending hours and thousands of hours to learn one thing. I am going to now figure out who has the blueprint, who has the information. When COVID happened, I'm a learning designer also in higher education, mainly in higher education. And when the pandemic happened, all of these softwares that I was seeing in these job descriptions that were looking for people that were like me, instructional designers, they kept naming all of these different softwares. So I could have had the mindset of, I got a job, I'm good, I don't need to learn anything. My job is not using this, so maybe it's not important. But then I said, if more companies are saying this, then there must be some value to it. And you know what I ended up doing? I started researching and I started to do that. And then I started realizing I need to learn this faster. So I found someone online who was doing classes to teach people how to use this software. And I signed up. And it was a really quick, she did like a quick boot camp. So it was like in 2 weeks, I was able to walk away from that particular class, learning how to utilize the very basic foundation of the features in that particular software. It's called Articulate Rise. I have no problem sharing that. And then by the end of the 2 weeks, because it wasn't like mandatory, but she was like, if you sit and you learn and you start making your own portfolio, then when you start applying to these jobs, they're gonna ask you for a portfolio. They want to see some kind of sample. I was able to produce that by the end of those 2 weeks. And that was how I got my first contract with a global tech company. So I ended up, and it was a real, I think she had charged like $97. She wasn't even charging anything insane for a 2-week boot camp. Live sessions, not recorded. These were live sessions. We can ask questions. And then I created something. And because I followed her blueprint, keyword, I followed her blueprint. She said, take the class, be in class, do the work, create a portfolio, and you will go forward. And I did all of those things. And I got a contract. I got a 6-month contract, which ended up being extended to 9 months with a global tech company back during the pandemic. So this is the reason why I say to you, I'm not the person that's just talking, right? Make this XYZ amount of money in 15 days. Like, I'm not that person. I'm telling you because this is what I have actually gone through for myself. I'm a professor and I believe in education. I believe in going out there and learning something new. I'm a lifelong learner, and it doesn't have to be in a traditional college setting. This is the reason why I understood we have more people who are not in college. So if I want to help the mass, if I want to help the greater good of the community and of the world, I can't only teach in colleges. I have to also make these things available. So that's why I have the Google Workspace boot camp that's coming up, not this Saturday, but next Saturday for 2 Saturdays, 6 hours. We're going to work. You're going to walk away knowing how to utilize Google Workspace the correct way, how to actually be efficient in it, how to be productive. This is the reason why I have the side hustle course, because I want to show people how they can start making money either using their phone, using their computer. And the one that I love is showing them how to use their talent, skills, and abilities to create more money. That's what I do. I will teach you all day long if you're willing to learn. Whether it's going to be asynchronous, which means that you are following your own path, or it's going to be a live class and I'm there with you. And as long as you show up and you do the work, you will be successful. But again, if someone is giving you the blueprint to something, please stop saying this is a scam. Because if you reach out to me in another year and you're in the same place, you haven't learned anything new, you haven't learned even the basic terminologies, yeah, that's a you problem. That means that you scammed yourself out of this. You did not do your due diligence. And the last thing I'm going to say is, and this is just where the spiritual, and I should have probably said this first, you got to use your discernment. That's really how we determine if it's a scam or not. Discern if is this real? Are they really just talking smoke? Because some people are really gifted at talking, right? They have the gift of gab, and they're gonna talk you. Oh, you gonna do this? You're gonna make all this big money, right? And that's why I always say, if anyone can promise you like really big numbers for something that like normally. So if I said to you, guys, go get this app, download it, you're gonna make $10,000 by the end of the week. Please know I'm lying. I highly doubt that any of the apps that I'm telling you about is going to help you make $10,000 by the end of the week. Especially, all the apps that I know, there are limits. Like Uber Eats and even DoorDash, they will limit how long you're able to be on the app in one day. So you can't even be like, I'm a Uber Eats for 24 hours. You can Uber Eats on one app, and then you can go on DoorDash, and you could do that within one day, absolutely. But you're not going to be able to be on one app. And even at the end of the day, unless you get like a crazy great tipper, you get a Beyonce and Jay-Z who wants to tip you $5,000-$7,000, right? So certain things you just gotta like ask God and the Holy Spirit, like, is this real? What does that gut feeling tell you? And then sometimes you just got to just go out there and say, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to give it my all. And I'm going to just see what's going to end up happening. And then that's where you can go. You can go from that direction. So I'm going to stop here. Anyone that signs up for the Side Hustle course, if you sign up by Sunday, you will be able to come to my masterclass. I'm doing a mastermind. I'm doing a mastermind conversation where you're going to walk away and figure out how to use one of your gifts and talents and start making money with it. It could be the simplest things. This is not where we're not going to overthink it. We're going to make this as simple as possible and give you all of the tools and the resources. So if you click my link tree that's in the description, you'll be able to see, use the promo code YES75 to get 75% off. I'm not going to make $10,000 from this course this week. And I'm okay with that, because I'm charging less than $15 for people to go and get the information. And then I'm inviting you to a live conversation where up to 20 people are going to come together And we're going to have this conversation together of how we can now make this a reality. The stuff that is in that course, module 4, that's the one we're going to talk about. That's the one that we have actual opportunity to go out there, right? So I definitely encourage you to go and do the work. Whether it's you actually going out there and just learning the information, but get the information. Hold on to it. But the key thing is stop thinking that anytime someone is presenting you with an opportunity outside of a regular 9-to-5 job, that they are trying to they're trying to scam you. Is anyone here? We are here. Good morning. Good morning, Daydreamer. Hope you are actually dreamer. Okay, and go out there and dream big. All right, guys. So have an awesome day. Again, we're here every Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. So join this conversation. Daydreamer, hit that subscribe button and join us on Monday. Right? We talk about all things lifestyle. So it's not just about making money. We talk about going after your dreams. That's why I do love your name, Daydreamer, because I help people to make their dreams a reality. We just talk about all things good, positive, inspiration. I want people to go out there and take actual action towards the life that they actually want. So if that's the kind of place that you want to be, then you're in the right place. But we do this every Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Central Time. So whatever time it is right now, at the top of the hour, we'll be there. And when you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification so you'll be actually notified when I go live. But yeah, I'm your girl, Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. Have an amazing weekend. And I hope to see some of y'all sign up for the Side Hustle course, because that is where, like I said, the mastermind that we're going to have, everyone who joined this particular week using that promo code, you will get access to the mastermind, 75% off using code YES75. All right. Be the first 20 so you can definitely get into that. All right. Have a great day, guys. I love you. Be well, be safe. And wherever you are, if it is cold, stay warm. And I pray that there's like no crazy weather this weekend where you are. I love you guys. Have a good one.
Wow. Tanisha, that was a powerful message. I hope everyone was blessed by today's message. Listen, if you are not tuned in, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Meet us for morning inspiration with friends every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m.-ish CT time. See you next time, friend.